Yes. Obviously, I am Lucas Dorton. I am joined by the one, the only Jake Schmitz. Jake, how's it going?
That's it. Just great. I'd have a better. My legacy is so much more than the one though.
Okay, let me start over. Welcome to the Dorton Doetkott Debate Podcast. I am Lucas Dorton. Today we are joined by the man that will get 5,000 offensive rebounds in the paint, will sauce people up, and has no regard for human life on the basketball court. He might not make a shot every once in a while, but if you need 18 offensive rebounds in one possession, by God, he's going to get it for you.
There you go.
Schmitz, how are we doing?
Yep. I'm doing fantastic.
That's
how
good.
are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I hope the intro was good for you.
Yes. There we go. It was sufficient.
Okay. Got the job done. Okay, cool. So today we are going to be talking about, for one of our NFL offseason team reviews, we did the Vikings a couple weeks ago. Today we're doing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jake is our resident Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So, Jake, you ready to talk some Steelers or what?
I hope so. And something I like to talk to them because they're on the downhill part of the cycle where it's up and down. They're definitely on the down or the valley. But yeah.
Hey, I'm a Dolphins fan. We've only been in a valley, so we've never been on the up climb.
Yeah. Only undefeated this season. I actually used to be a Dolphins. I'll tell you that. I'll actually tell you how I got to be a Steelers.
Yeah, tell me.
I was playing backyard football on the PS2. Loved Dante Culpepper.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
he plays for the Vikings. I liked the Vikings for a few years. I'll admit it. I was like sick. Whenever that happened. Then he moved to Miami for a few years. I was like, Miami. And then they had the only undefeated season, so I got behind him. Then Dante Culpepper went to the Raiders. I'm like, I don't like them. And then I was like, hey, I like Franco Harris and the Immaculate Reception. So now I'm a Steelers fan. And I got behind him. And that was, I believe, a year prior to them winning the or like really young.
Yeah.
So I'm not a bandwagon.
Not a bandwagon. So now this is new news for me. You're the biggest Dante Culpepper fan I think I've ever met, so that's cool. Definitely did not expect to learn that. I mean, someone's got to be a big fan of every player, right? You're just the biggest Dante Culpepper fan. Oh, shoot. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to get into some Pittsburgh Steelers talk. We'll start kind of at the breakdown like we did last time with the Vikings. We'll talk about how Pittsburgh did last year, talk about some offseason moves, signings, draft, and stuff, and then we'll make some predictions at the end of the show to close it out. So, Steelers last season finished 8-8, second in the Northern Division in the AFC. I gotta say, from a non-Pittsburgh fan, with the amount of injuries that you guys had last season, the fact that you finished 500 is, I mean, I think that's great. With not only Ben going down, you went through all of your quarterbacks. James Conner wasn't really healthy at all. Schuster did not play well, probably because he had a different quarterback every time he was going out to play. And then some injuries on the offensive, defensive front as well, too. So do you think, like, that was the main reason, I guess, why they didn't do better than 8-8, or was there other reasons?
100%. I'll read you. This is the updated ESPN chart. I'm counting 4 starters. 1, 2, 3, 6 people are questionable for starters. And there's more in the secondary, or the the second stringers that are questionable. Just on one team, I don't understand it. Like we had the worst luck in the past. Well, whenever Antonio Brown left, that was probably when our bad luck started. But yeah, I think we could have done a lot better if everyone was healthy and like we just didn't blow it. I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers the past 2 years have just blown it, and that's the only way you can really describe it.
Right. Pittsburgh, they've always had, in their history, a really solid defense. Like, that's always been their kind of mantra. Like, they've had good offensive teams, don't get me wrong, but the defense has kind of been like who Pittsburgh Steelers are. And they had a good defense. And a lot of times, defenses are going to win you games regardless of the offense. But when the offense has had so many injuries like it did, then you keep throwing the defense out there on, 3 and outs, turnovers, and it really tires them out and kind of exposes them a little bit.
Yeah, once Dick LeBeau left, that was kind of also a big hit to the organization because he was the one who, at least as far as I know, he invented the zone blitz. So essentially you take a down lineman and drop him into coverage, and then you blitz like a linebacker or something. I'm not a football guru, so I don't know like exactly the terms or even that's how exactly it works. But I do know that is how James Harrison picked off that 199-yard or whatever it was in the Super Bowl touchdown or pick six or whatever. Yeah. It was on his own blitz.
Now you guys last season did trade for my boy Minkah Fitzpatrick. He pretty much made immediate impact. I believe had some votes for defensive player of the year, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he didn't win it.
Yeah,
but he played very well. What do you expect from him to do in this upcoming season? Do you think he's going to be about the same, or do you expect him to play even better?
Honestly, I'm hoping that he's going to play better. Him and Joe, it was the same thing with Joe. I thought he was going to come in and just be a difference maker. Minka was kind of that, but we just need both of them to be at the top of their game for a whole season and just make it kick it up a notch because, I don't know, I feel like our secondary, like our quarterbacks have kind of let us down in the past. And defense wins football games. Like, that's the bottom line. And being in the, like, you have to stop them somehow. So defense risk.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's one of those things where, and I've always said on the podcast in the past before too, that the front line for the defense is probably, I don't know what the most important position in football, but certainly probably the most important position on the defense. Just because of how much they help the secondary. If you got the big guys pushing the offensive linemen and putting pressure in the quarterback's face, then they make bad throws, they make bad plays, and so the corners, the secondary is able to kind of capitalize off of that. Now, obviously, if you are a good secondary, cornerback, safety, you're just going to be good regardless of where you play.
Yeah.
That's not always the case, but it helps a ton if you have that front line that's able to put some pressure on the quarterback for sure. So that's my take on that. But 8-8 though. Ben Roethlisberger should be back this year. Apparently, now I don't know if you heard this or not, Jake, but apparently the elbow injury that took him out last season, he's been playing with for 12 or 13 years, and he just never did anything about it. Did you hear about that at all?
Yeah, I think I did hear something about that. Like, if you asked me, to recite that from memory, I would say I don't know. But now that you bring it up, I do remember hearing about that. And I don't know. Yeah, he is kind of like the leader of the team. Like, I've heard stuff with him and Antonio Brown and how apparently he goes out and airs like the team laundry out on radio stations and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he's the quarterback, and like he takes most of the blame for a lot of the stuff, and he praised too. But he did healthy. I feel like he's looked off the past few years is because of that elbow injury, or just like he's not at the peak of his game. But I think it was 2 years left. I'd say 2 years, and then I think take over and be a really good replacement.
Yeah. That's a good point. Ben Roethlisberger, his whole career, I mean, he just kind of really encapsulates what the Pittsburgh Steelers are, like kind of like a blue collar, like hard-nosed team. Like, this guy is big. I mean, I don't know if for those of you, if you watch much football, watch much Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger is a big guy, and he takes some licks. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten injured seriously more in his career, because he gets hit a lot. You know, we saw kind of that with Cam Newton too, how much he was getting hit, how much it kind of told on him. Now, obviously, Roethlisberger isn't a runner, you know, like Cam Newton could be, but still a big guy. And, you know, that definitely played into it. So we do have to ask you, last season, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph, everyone knows his neck. Myles Garrett, the helmet that bonked him there. When you first saw that, so 2 questions, I guess, I don't know, maybe just one, I don't know. When you first saw that, what was your initial reaction? What were you thinking?
Initial reaction, I was thinking, I feel like everyone was thinking, like, we have to get Myles Garrett out of the league or something like that. But I feel like that was everyone's initial reaction, not game suspending and stuff like that. But Mason Rudolph maybe using like a slur or something, and that is obviously, I feel like facts are left out. Every type of media, they tell one side of the story or the other, and that's what makes it so hard, because you don't know if he said it. You don't know. Well, I've heard people say, well, Mason was the one who wanted to take his helmet off, but you can kind of argue that because I was going to have his face mask, and Mason kind of undid his chin strap and made it. I don't know, but I think that it's not the best way to go about it. Hitting someone in the head with a helmet, maybe like. I could totally see Myles Garrett just like give the ball up on the next play or something like that, but not hitting him in the head with like a helmet or something like that, because that could have seriously caused bad damage if he would have hit him square.
It could have. I mean, if he hit him, with the hard part of the helmet, and then, I mean, with like the soft part of your head too, you know, and everyone was saying like, oh, what was the suspension for Myles Garrett like warranted? Like, got suspended the rest of the year, you know, all that. And I say, hell yeah, it was warranted, because it's not because of what he did. It's because of what could have happened. Like, yeah, you hit him on your head with a helmet, you know, okay, yeah, that's bad. But the fact that, like, that quite literally could have killed him if you did it just the right way, like, yeah, hell yeah, that's warranted. I mean, I don't think I would go as far as saying, you know, Myles Garrett should be kicked out of the league by any means. But, like, you know, because I don't think he should, but it's just, I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't get games suspended for this season as well too. But I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's been since I've watched it, but he came down with it, and the side part of the helmet kind of raised his head. But if that would have hit like the top of his head, where it's that sharp part of the helmet on the side, that definitely would have fractured the skull at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. I've seen fights in football games before, punches thrown, people tackling each other like to get pissed and stuff. But I've
Hmm.
never, I don't think, I've seen people, rip off their helmets. The old Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
classic there, but nobody started swinging helmets at each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a moment that I don't I don't think I'm ever gonna forget. Um, I mean, I'm glad that everyone came out of it okay. No serious injury or nothing, but it was
Hmm.
that was definitely something else. Um, yeah, it's just kind of funny. I mean, I don't. I wonder if Big Ben was in there. If Miles Garrett's doing the same thing to him, I would assume probably.
Yeah.
Uh,
Probably not. Yeah.
but anyway, so we can get into that a little bit here. So as far as big free agent signings go, Pittsburgh didn't do a whole lot as far as that goes. They did a couple signings. They did get Eric Ebron, signed him to a 2-year deal, so that should be nice for
Hmm.
sure. What do you expect him to try and bring to the team? I mean, obviously he's a guy that's been around a long time. He's had great success with Indianapolis most recently. He was pretty good with Detroit
Hmm.
as well too. Um, how do you think he'll fare with Pittsburgh this year?
Just like a veteran guy on the Pittsburgh team, I think is a huge plus because we really don't have that many. Well, other than the big couple few, we don't have that many experienced players. They're all either left, cough, cough, Antonio Brown, cough, cough, Le'Veon Bell, or they've retired and stuff, and they just need more veteran players like like Ben Roethlisberger, and they just need to help the rookies, or not rookies, but like the more inexperienced players be like, hey, this is how you get through the season. We lost a game, just bounce back the next week. Bounce back the next week. Just keep on showing the fans and ourselves really how good we are and how good we really can be.
Absolutely. Now, also, one kind of point of emphasis was the running back position. James Conner really struggled last year. I mean, obviously he
Mm-hmm.
was hurt, pretty often as well, so that doesn't really help the cause much. Um, but that definitely seemed to be a point of emphasis in the draft and off season for Pittsburgh this year. Obviously, they had James Conner, but they also drafted Anthony McFarland Jr. And I think they drafted someone else too, and I'm drawing a blank on, I can't find it. But and then they also signed Derek Watt as well too, the fullback with the Chargers for a long time. Now, I don't expect him to have a ginormous impact. He's probably going to come down on 1 yard plays, try and punch it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Um, but do you expect, new season, some rest? Do you think the Pittsburgh running game will get back to the Le'Veon Bell days with Pittsburgh? Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell is the bar, because that's a high mark to reach. But can you see them getting back to the try and kind of punch it up the gut type offense, or do you think they're going to be more of, now that Big Ben is back, they're going to be more of a wide receiver pass it kind of team?
Honestly, I don't think they're going to be either way. I think they're going to be dead middle because we don't have a stellar run game. We don't have a stellar pass game. We have Juju, I guess, but like it's not like we have that big name receiver. It's not like we have the two decent receivers for that good receiving core. Like we're just going to have to be really balanced and keep the defense on their toes. And like you said, Le'Veon Bell, like obviously we're not going to get back to that because he runs different than anyone I've ever seen
Yeah,
before. Ever since middle school, the coaches always taught you just run up the designated hole. Like
yeah,
that's where the plays drop. You go there. He'd sit behind, kind of dance a little bit. Oh, there's a hole there. Go there. Like it was fantastic. Those 1 or 2 years that he was really good on the Steelers, but I don't think obviously they're not going to return to that form. But I think having a balanced attack will definitely help them.
I think so too. I'm hoping James Conner. I mean, obviously the guy's got a great story, with how he beat cancer and stuff, and really played really well his first year in the league. So I would probably agree with you on that. I definitely, if Pittsburgh wants to have success, they're going to have to do both. Now, in the past, they've had Le'Veon Bell and they've had great running backs, but I think for the most part, their offense has kind of been really heavily on Big Ben and to throw it 45, 50 times a game. I mean, now granted, when you have Antonio Brown on your team, that's not a bad idea to do that. But Antonio Brown isn't there anymore. I think Juju's good. Obviously, when you don't have your normal quarterback, and that obviously showed his performance last year was not the best. So I certainly think that they're going to have a little bit more of a balanced offense. I think they'll have to throw it when they have to throw it. And hopefully when they run it, they have to run it. I think that'll be interesting to see how they do this season as far as that goes. Also, another draft pick, Chase Claypool, their wide receiver. I haven't heard too much about him. I don't know how much you know about him at all, if much.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really pay attention to the draft. I mean, there's been so many busts, and I would have ever known that Lamar would have been this good. Who would have ever known?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brady would. Yeah, sure, you could take it number one overall. Myles Garrett was number one overall, right? I believe so. Something like that. And he's good, but it's I don't know. I feel like he's not that star player. And you never know when or where that star player is going to come from. Antonio Brown got picked up from Central Michigan, I believe. Yeah. And it's if you would have told me that before the draft, I think you could predict the future because no one saw that.
No, yeah, absolutely not. That definitely was. The draft is always an interesting thing. You hope that your first round pick is going to be the guy that's going to make that immediate impact right away. He's going to do something great for your team. Second round, kind of the same idea. But then after that, that's, people always say that's really where you build your team is those 3rd to 7th rounds. And I think recently there's been, obviously there's scouting that goes into it, obviously, when you're drafting someone.
Yeah.
But especially recently, those later round picks are really big to your team. Now, sometimes, 7th round pick, you're not expecting a whole lot from them. Maybe they make the team, maybe they don't. You don't really know. But those middle rounds, you can really find some great talent in there. And that really is where you build your team. You can have the first round talent, but you also need a few other rounds too to kind of build around and kind of, establish something there.
Yeah, kind of a sidebar. I don't understand people who go to the draft and boo whoever their team chooses. Yeah. You don't know how they're going to perform. I kind of switching over to NBA for a second. I believe Kristaps Porzingis was booed, and maybe even Luka. And it's just they're two of a top 50 in the league at least, and that's hard to do easily.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. I've never. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if it's more of this player sucks, let's boo him, or if it's more of man, I thought we were going to draft a wide receiver and we went with an offensive lineman. And at the end of the day, granted, sure, GMs, owners, they're going to make bad picks. That's just what happens. But I don't ever think that, you don't draft someone with the intention of this guy isn't going to be on the team in a month. You don't do that. You draft because you think this person can have an impact either now or in the future. And sometimes they don't work out, but that's just the nature of the business. You're going to have people that are going to suck all the time, and they're not going to be able to do anything to help the team. And then the teams, GMs, owners are really drafting for what they think they need. And if they think, you need an offensive lineman over a wide receiver, hell, go ahead, make the pick. It's always, as a Dolphins fan, we've had a lot of early first round picks, so I have a lot of experience in this field. And And offensive line has always been a focus. And for me, and now that I'm older, like I definitely understand why a little more. But when I was younger, I was like, oh, we have the 5th pick. Like, why are we getting an offensive lineman? Like, don't think about it much, but like, it probably works out for the best. But yeah, why boo a player before he's even taken a snap for your team?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that is a good side. That is an interesting point, though. I don't think anyone really talks about that. That's pretty funny. But let's see. Yeah, so the draft, again, we kind of talked about that a little bit. The defense is, like we've said, is really what makes this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Do you expect them now? Obviously, some defensive players that they have on the team, T.J. Watt, beast, Minkah Fitzpatrick, beast, and then they have some of the older, veteran guys that are great. Hayward, Tuitt, Dupree, Devin Bush isn't older, but he's been there a little bit. Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson. They have a really, really solid defense. So do you think next season, what is going to be the main headline for Pittsburgh as far as how their season went? Is it going to be, oh, Big Ben, James Conner are back, this offense is electric? Or is it going to be the defense is going to be hitting people in the face and just doing what they do?
I think it's going to depend how many times Lamar beats us, because it's going to come down to that. Like I don't know how, but every time in the playoffs you run into a team and they just are our kryptonite. Last year it was the Ravens, and I believe the year before that it was the Titans with who was that? We got beat out by a running team. I know that. And then the Patriots every year. Run to the Patriots. AFC Championship. Gotta love it. AFC Championship, face the Patriots. Great. We're going to lose. I mean, that's just how it goes for the Steelers. But I really hope that the headline is going to be Big Ben returns to greatness. Because I feel like that is going to be the difference maker. Because he is a big guy, but he is very nimble, and
he is nimble.
I don't want to say quick, but he is elusive in the pocket, and I really hope that he can return to that form.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a good pocket presence. That's a great point. A lot of people see this big guy, 6'5", 250, looking like he's a middle linebacker out there hucking the football. But that's a good point. He, he's not fast. It's not like he's got 4.2 40 speed up the field, but he can move around on the pocket a little bit and then kind of keep plays alive. I mean, obviously, when you have as big of an arm as Ben Roethlisberger has, that's huge. That is big time, and it's definitely helped him out a lot. But that's a good point. So let's see. You want to do some predictions?
Oh, okay. Here we go.
All right. So this is how we're gonna do it. I didn't get a piece of paper with me to write down the pick by pick prediction.
That's fine. Here, I can do it. I can do like a win-loss counter.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
So week 1, Pittsburgh at New York Giants. I think they win that.
I was gonna say win, yeah. But when I looked at the schedule from last year, we won against teams that I was like, how? We won against the Chiefs. How? How did we do this? But and then we lose against the Browns. Like that's what I'm saying where we blow it. Like we beat teams that we shouldn't beat, and then we lose the teams that we shouldn't lose to. So
welcome to it, I guess.
Exactly.
Week 2, you're home versus the Denver Broncos.
I really hope we win that. I'm gonna be honest.
I hope you do too. I think the Broncos have a really good young offensive team. I think it'll be close, but I think Pittsburgh gets the win. I think Pittsburgh gets the win late. So week 3, home versus the Texans.
Loss. I don't think that we can stop Derrick Henry. At least not yet. I don't know. He's amazing.
No, the Texans, not the
Titans. Not the Texans. It's still a loss. I don't know. I just 3 wins in a row for the Steelers, unheard of.
Unheard of. Yeah, they got to drop an easy one. I think they'll win that. I think obviously DeAndre Hopkins not being there, that'll be an interesting game. So I'm going to give them a win.
Okay.
And So week 4 now, you are at the Tennessee Titans.
Loss, yes.
Yeah, I think you lose that one too. Week 5, you're home versus the Eagles.
Win. I think win for sure, to be
So
honest with you.
that's
They have fallen. They did win the Super Bowl, but I think they have fallen from glory in the past year.
Who knows? Maybe Carson Wentz will be hurt by then, and they'll be throwing it back up.
Is their backup Jalen Hurts, I believe, right?
Yeah, yep, Jalen Hurts. Yeah. That's interesting. Week 6, you're home versus Cleveland.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with a win.
I think so too. I think it'll be close. But I think they get the win. Week 7 at Baltimore.
Loss. I think we lose every game against Baltimore until the playoffs, and I'm hoping we win against.
I also think you lose that one. Week 8, you have a bye, and then coming out of the yeah, hopefully you can win that. Yeah. Week 9, you are at Dallas.
At Dallas. Okay.
That
is a strong word. At Dallas. Oh gosh. I want to say win, but that's just a lot. I feel like we lose big spotlight games. I don't know why, but I just feel we do. I don't know if you remember. It was probably 2 years ago, I want to say. It was Pittsburgh versus New England. And Jesse James caught it on like a 1-yard line or something. And it was something how he didn't – an NFL rule.
It was a stupid catch rule, yeah.
So I'm an optimistic guy, so I'm going to say win, but I could see going either way.
I really could see that one going either way too. I mean, Pittsburgh has a good defense. I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott fan.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while he surprises you. Throws for 350. That offense is very good. I mean, that is a very good offense. But they always say good defense always beats a good offense, and Pittsburgh has a good defense. So I think it could be a close game, but I'll give the edge to Pittsburgh. Week 10, you're home versus Cincinnati. I think that's an easy dub.
I'm going to go with loss. I think that's one of the games that we're just like, you want to know what? We're going to lose, guys. We're way better than them, but we're going to lose because that's happened the past few seasons.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, who knows? Maybe they drop an easy one. Week 11 at Jacksonville.
Win.
I think so too. They're not a very good football team. Week 12, they're home versus the Ravens.
Loss again, yeah.
I think that one might be close, but I think Baltimore wins.
Yeah.
Week 13, you're home versus the Washington football team.
The Washington football team, okay. Win, I think. With that name change, you can't. They don't know. They don't know what kind of team.
I think you win that one too. Week 14 at Buffalo. Probably a colder game.
Buffalo is a surprising team. They always surprise me. I don't know why or how, but I just always think that they're like not a good football team, but they pull out wins that I question how they did that. So I give us losses on all the ones I've questioned, so I'm just going to go for
win. Okay. Week 15 at Cincinnati.
Win. We learned from our mistake the last time, and we're going to crush it.
Yeah.
38-14. Score prediction.
Okay, folks. We'll check back week 15 of the NFL season to see if it hits that, and we'll get Jake back on. Week 16, you are home versus Indianapolis.
I'm going to go with a loss just because I don't see us winning out 4 in a row.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to win a football game when you're on a winning streak. I don't know. I just feel like this, like, I know that momentum is a thing. It's a term that people use. But with Pittsburgh, I don't think so. Every game is 50-50, I feel like.
Indianapolis, gosh, I could see that one going either way. I think Pittsburgh might win. I think they might win. And then week 17 at Cleveland.
At Cleveland. Hopefully win to close out the season. Well, not the season, but hopefully not close out the season.
Yeah.
Close out the regular season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think they win that one too. So what was the tally? What did you have them out? Well, the final.
Here we go. So for you, let's see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wins.
Okay.
So that's for you. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wins.
10 and 6, 13 and 3. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you're right. I really do.
I mean, now that I'm hearing 13 and 3, I'm wondering if I got a little too excited on some of
This
the
is what I don't understand about Pittsburgh. You would think, wow, I really think they can win all these games. And then they end up 8-8. And it's just like, how?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's 13.
At least with a Dolphins fan, you're like, we'll give it our best shot.
We'll give it our best shot. I don't expect us to be a 500 team, but you know what? If we are.
No, my mom always says this: expect the worst, hope for the best. And I feel, yeah.
As a Dolphins fan, I always expect for the worst. So I definitely, I agree with that. 10 and 6, 13 and 3. Okay. Well, I can't change it now. That's what I picked. So 13 and 3. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do you think, now obviously with the expanded playoffs now, 13 and 3 definitely will be fine to make the playoffs. 10 and 6 definitely I think will be too.
Yeah.
Do you expect Pittsburgh to have a deep playoff run, or do you, and obviously that's a tough question to ask because you don't know about matchups, who they'd be playing, but just what you know as a Pittsburgh fan, do you expect them to be a first-round exit, or you think they're going to have a deep playoff run?
Depends where we match up with Baltimore, to be brutally honest. I know I've brought them up so many times in this podcast, but
same division.
True. It's true. Yeah. Like, if we win against Baltimore, I think we may make the Super Bowl. If we lose, obviously we're out there, but wherever we lose against Baltimore.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, the AFC is tough. They have, I feel, I don't know about you, but I feel the NFC has a lot of just really solid teams and not a ton of just really bad ones. But I feel AFC has amazing teams in the Chiefs, in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Those teams, and then the bad teams are really bad.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. We'll have to see what comes of that.
While we're on the topic of predictions, I'm going to make some bold statements here.
Yeah, please.
I wish Tuckett was here because Tom Brady is the most system quarterback I've ever seen in my life. So I know he's a big get. I wanted to say it to his face, but he's not here. But I believe that if Bill Belichick, if he was not never born, because that's very harsh, if he worked at McDonald's, a manager, so he's doing well for his life, right? He's happy. He works at McDonald's. If he was never a coach, I'd say Ben Roethlisberger has more rings than Tom Brady. I think so, because every year we got knocked out by them. It seemed like every year we got knocked out by them, and it was so annoying. And yeah, that's my prediction. Well, statement.
Yes. Prediction. He is a system quarterback. Yeah, I feel now that's an interesting point too, because I've talked about this in the past when we've talked about system quarterbacks with Doetkott and stuff. Maybe you've heard the one, I don't know, but I feel that the system quarterback is not, it's always used in like a like a derogatory, like, oh, you're a quarterback, like you're not good.
Timeout. Lamar Jackson, technically system quarterback, but that is like, I feel like the system for him.
Yeah,
what I know by system quarterback for Tom Brady is anyone can fit into that system. So I wanted to make that disclaimer. Yeah.
It has showed in the past, based off of that, you know, Tom Brady suspended the first 4 games. Well, let's throw in Jimmy G. Okay, he wins a couple, gets hurt. Let's throw in Jacoby Brissett. He wins a couple too.
Forgot about that year.
And then the year that Tom Brady tore his ACL, wasn't Hoyer? It wasn't Hoyer that was a quarterback. I think it was it Castle?
Matt Castle.
Was Matt Castle the quarterback then? I mean, because the Dolphins won the division. I remember that, but I think they did play pretty well.
Honestly, they could have just stuck him back there in shotgun because he doesn't have to move. He gets the ball off in like 2 seconds anyway. So he doesn't need an ACL just to stand there and throw it because he's only throwing 10 yards. But
true.
That's for another.
Yeah. No, I that's interesting to me. Like, I think, and it's hard. I feel football, like, it can be a little difficult. I don't think it's as easy as people think it is when it comes to the GOAT talk. Yeah. You know, like you have NBA, okay, you can come up with a GOAT because they're making an impact on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. You know, hockey, you know, you could make the same argument for that. And then I feel baseball is hard because not all positions are the same. And football, you know, what does GOAT mean in football? Is it just because you have a lot of the all-time top stats like Tom Brady has? Or do you base it more off of like athleticism and like playmaking ability? And that's tough. What do you think?
I think, well, obviously it's a lot harder, I think, because football is more of a team game. Obviously basketball is too, but like I could go into – if LeBron James came to an open gym, he would dominate. Obviously. Yeah. Right. But like people say Barry Sanders is the GOAT. And I don't think they're wrong for thinking that. He was on a terrible team. Like you can't help that you're on a terrible team with terrible line. I'm not bashing on Lions fans. I don't really know much about the Barry Sanders era other than Barry Sanders was a freak.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think you can judge like the GOAT debate in football as well, because as far as I know, I don't think anyone has ever claimed a football player to be the GOAT on defense. Maybe. Yeah.
I don't think they have.
Yeah. I really don't think anyone has ever said that because like it's just as much a statement like Deion Sanders maybe. Because as far as I know, I'm not super like well versed on Deion Sanders' career, but I know he's very good and he was a very good punt returner. And he like people didn't throw his way, so that impacted the game.
Lawrence Taylor potentially. I mean, he had a huge impact with the Giants. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I feel that, and that's why I'm really intrigued this season to see who does better, Tampa Bay or New England?
Yes.
Personally, I don't think New England, I don't think they're going to do amazing. I don't remember what I have the record prediction somewhere when Nick and I did that for Cam Newton this season with New England, but they have a lot of missing pieces now. You know, Belichick, we've seen what he's able to do with nothing. Yes. And kind of like last season, you know, they were not. Yes, they made the playoffs, but realistically, they were not a great team. Tom Brady struggled a lot. Julian Edelman struggled a lot. They really didn't have a run game. They didn't have a tight end because Gronk wasn't there. Mm-hmm. You know, the defense kind of got exposed once they played good teams. So I'm really intrigued, and for Tampa Bay too, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't think Gronk is going to be as good as everyone thinks he is. I mean, the guy retired for a reason. It's because he was getting beat the hell up and, you know, couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know if a year off helps with that. I think they have a really solid offensive threats. They have a good defense. So I would think Tampa Bay does better, but I don't know. There's a lot of storylines this season that are interesting in the NFL.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think personally, if Cam Newton doesn't deviate from the plan, I think they'll be good. I don't know how he can deviate from the plan in Belichick's offense, but if he doesn't make the right reads, if he takes off when there's an open guy and he should have made that read, I think that's where they'll struggle. But I think overall, I think they'll do better than Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Belichick's never really had a mobile quarterback. I mean, he had Jacoby Brissett for like the 2 games that he started in. You know, Brissett can run pretty well, but like, I don't think he's ever truly had like an running quarterback. You know, he's always been the pocket presence, the Tom Brady, stay in the pocket, sling the ball, 10 yards down the field.
Yeah, let's not sling, maybe like a lob.
Maybe a lob, yeah. Lob 10 yards down.
Yeah. If we're talking Philip Rivers, is it like shot put?
Yeah. Well, we got a little sidetracked there from Pittsburgh, but essentially we were pretty much at the end of the show anyways. Is there any other final statements, things that you want to make about Pittsburgh? Anything else, or just football, sports in general?
Not really. I don't know. I do want to get your opinion on one thing. Fantasy football. I want you, no context. I'll give you my roster. What will my record be?
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready. Obviously, you don't have the trades. You don't have injuries. You don't have any context.
Yeah, let me pull up my notes here.
Okay.
I can write it down. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We got Russell Wilson, Joe Mixon, who is questionable. I'll get James Conner, Brown, Marquise Brown from the Ravens, Brandon Cooks, now on the Texans, Jared Cook for tight end, Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, and then my defense is the Steelers. Okay. I have to have some root for on my team.
Some Pittsburgh, yeah.
Cam Newton on the bench, Tevin Coleman, Sammy Watkins, John Brown, and some guy picked up in the 15th round. So,
who's your kicker? Do you have a kicker?
No, it's a half-point PPR, no kicker, but we have 2 flexes.
Yep. So how many weeks do you play?
I believe 16. I think so.
Okay. Trying to think, like Wilson, he's gonna get you points. I mean, Wilson is a hell of a quarterback. You have a lot of question marks. Your team, I don't know a record, but I think your team is either going to be really good if everyone clicks and no injuries, or they're going to be really bad. I really don't think there's going to be an in-between for you. Like Joe Mixon, very hit or miss. He can play amazing one game and absolutely suck the next. James Conner, I think that'll be interesting to see how he does this season. Like I said, I mean, you have a lot of potential, like potentially great. You might have a lot of success this year, or you might absolutely suck.
That's the goal. Not the sucking part, but great. Yeah, we're in a keeper league, and let me tell you, the guy I'm playing week 1 kept Lamar Jackson from week 13 or from round 13. So he doesn't get a 13th round pick, but he gets Lamar. He also has Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, AJ Cooper, AJ Green, and Rob Gronkowski. And it's defense.
I don't think you're winning that matchup.
I don't think so either.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah. So I guess, a couple kind of fun questions. You kind of talked about it earlier, but who is your all-time favorite Pittsburgh Steeler?
Lynn Swan. I don't know if you've ever seen the levitating leap.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool catch. I used to watch a lot of NFL Network. Not even like I don't know how you describe it. Like the trends and stuff like that. So I feel like I know like 70s football pretty well. Not pretty well, but like I know it better than people in my generation, I'd say.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Jack Lambert was pretty cool. Just like he was a really tough linebacker. And then probably Big Ben, just because he's a staple, I feel like.
Yeah. Now, who is your all-time favorite NFL player that is not
Doetkott Culpepper?
That's not on Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I like Vic, not for his off the field things, obviously, but I don't know. I like. Jeez, you're putting me on the spot.
It is. This is a rapid fire question here for you.
This is supposed to be rapid fire. Then top of my head, probably Barry Sanders. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean those are the only two questions.
Who's your favorite Miami Dolphin? Garo Upremian or?
Absolutely. How'd you know? No, it's got to be Cameron Wake. I think is my all-time favorite Dolphin. I really like Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry is probably one of my favorite. Probably my favorite non-Dolphin in the league. He did play with the Dolphins.
Really?
Right? Jarvis, I friggin' love Jarvis Landry. Yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all that we have to talk about today with Pittsburgh. Now, this is the part of the show where we sauce out some social media handles if people want to talk sports with you. You don't have to put out your social media handle if you don't want to, but if you do, where can the fans find you at to talk some Dante Culpepper?
Where can the fans find? I read that. I think I'm Jake Schmitz 7 on Instagram, and then I'm Schmitz Stain.
Okay.
On Twitter. I really don't tweet a lot on Twitter. I used to, but I like a lot of fire content. So if you go to my likes, bangers. So good laughs there. Facebook, Jake Schmitz. Snapchat, Visco, Jake Schmitz. LinkedIn, Jake. And I think that is about it.
Hey, you got to throw out all of the stops out there. Someone will find you. Someone will find you. Oh, gosh. That's funny. Nice. Well, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow myself at Lucas_Dorton, capital L, capital D. If you want to follow Nick on Twitter, his is at Doetkott. You want to follow the podcast at DND_podcast, capital D's, capital P for that. Definitely share this with friends and family. Get the word out there and stuff like that.
Give a thumbs up, like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe below there. Like and subscribe below. But yeah, definitely. And then, if anyone wants to be on the show again, certainly let us know. Jake, it was an honor having you on here. As good of I think we could have an offensive or defensive rebounding competition between you and Nick, because Nick is also an absolute demon on the board.
Really?
You guys are actually extremely similar in how you play. That would be fun to watch.
I would love to do that and a MLB The Show general manager competition between.
Yeah,
I have a good time. So
I would rather not talk about that.
I understand. You don't want that on your
I don't want that on my record, no. But anyways, folks, thank you for listening. Certainly tune in next time for our next episode that we'll have out. We'll definitely try and do more team ones along with the regular shows as well too. But thank you for watching. And as for Jake and myself, we are out.